Hey guys, welcome back to Flying with Brian. It's episode 8. Gosh, I was looking on my channel last night and recognized that the last Taylorcraft update was the end of June, and it's now early November. So my apologies for that. I've been super busy. I did have a little time to get some work done, so I've got some footage to show you. Hopefully now, though, we're back into the groove of things, and I'm about to get this fabric work done on the right wing. But so where I left off, we were at the end of June. We were just finishing up putting all the wire clips and the ribs on the left wing, and I do have a little bit of footage to show you of me putting the finishing tapes, which are also called reinforcing tapes, over those ribs. And that wing is now finished and in the wing rack and ready to be painted and primed. But here's some footage of finishing up that wing. All right, you can see here I've done this this one tape so far. This one is 3 inches wide, and it's covering that. You can see the wire clip is beneath it. It's 3 inches wide because it's also going. My fuel tank is right here. Let me back up a little bit. But the 6-gallon wing fuel tank is in this section right here, and there are some straps underneath the fabric, and the tape is going over that strap to give me a little more chafe resistance right there. So I've got this one 3-inch tape. This is a 2-inch tape over the other strap. This is along the back edge of the tank. And then along the leading edge of the wing, I've put, in each one of these positions here, we have a false rib with 3 screw heads, and then the false rib protrudes a little bit on the back side. You see on the back side, the skin stops right here, and that rib goes up to about right here. So I have a finishing tape over each one of those. So I got a lot of the little things started. Now we're going to start doing these big long 2-inch tapes that go over each one of the ribs. And the first thing I have to do is lay down 2 coats of thin adhesive. And that adhesive is it's 1 part the glue, which is right here, UA55 adhesive, and then 3 parts of the reducer. And I'll mix that up in a cup and put it on with a brush. And we're going to lay down 2 coats on each one of these ribs. And then once that's done, we're going to come back and start laying down the tapes. Alright, so I got the other side coated with 2 coats. Now I'm going to start putting these finishing tapes on here. You can see this one I have clamped in position between my lines, and I have enough to wrap all the way around the wing, so it goes across the leading edge as well. And I just tape I clamp a loose end up here on this side so it's not sitting on the floor. Once I have this side all the way down, this will come loose and it'll be in line on the other side as well. But I'll start another time lapse and we'll start putting these tapes on. And here is the left wing as of early November. You can see I have a little cradle or a wing rack that it sits in. I've got it covered in some plastic just to keep the dust and dirt off of it. So I finished that left wing up in early July. At the end of July, I went to Oshkosh with my neighbor Kurt. That's episode 7. We had a great trip. Hopefully you've seen that. If you're not, check that out. So when I got back from Oshkosh, we rolled into August, and I had to go to training at work. I had been flying our older A300 Airbuses for the last 4 years, and I just switched over to the 767, which is not exactly a brand new jet, but the ones we're getting are actually new from Boeing, and we've had it's called the large display installed in the cockpit. So it makes for a really nice airplane, and I just finished getting checked out about a week ago, and I'm enjoying that. While I was in school, I didn't have a lot of time to make videos, but I did get a little bit of work done on Taylorcraft. I did some work on the instrument panel, the electrical system, and started working on a skylight modification. So here is some footage of that. As you can see here, I've got the Taylorcraft instrument panel wired. It's purely battery operated, but I do have a lot of functionality. I've got my Garmin Era 660, which is a portable GPS that will also display weather and traffic. I've got this little radio, which is made by MGL. It's called the V6, and it is an intercom and a radio. And this is a USB charger plugged into a cigarette lighter port. You can see I've got a starter, and I cleaned up the magneto switch there. This is, I think, probably World War II vintage. And also kind of connected to this Era 660 on the same cigarette lighter port is this, it's called a GDL52, which is an ADS-B receiver, which will receive a little bit of traffic, but mostly I'll use it for weather en route. And the other big thing that maybe you'll notice is that I cut the fabric out of the roof, making room for a skylight. So my neighbor Kurt has helped me by welding on these tubes. We also re-welded these little standoffs to the windshield up front. They were in pretty bad shape, so we made some new ones. And I cleaned all those tubes up, and with emery cloth and Scotch-Brite, and then I just finished painting them black. So that looks nice and clean, and I think it's going to really open up the feeling in the cockpit here. Probably going to be hot in the summertime, but I think that's going to be worth it. So that's an update on the Taylorcraft instrument panel. A fun little project that I was able to do kind of piecemeal here and there, but I think it's turning out nice. All right, so it's time to get busy on the right wing. I took it out of my wing rack and put it on my sawhorses, and I did a little prep work. Had to install some inner rib lacing and some anti-chafe tape and scuff the leading edge to make it bond to the adhesive better. And just yesterday, I put fabric on the very first rib at the root end, which is called the butt rib, in preparation for adding the rest of the fabric to the wing. So check that out. So here's the right wing. It's all cleaned up and on the sawhorses. Added this, it's called inner rib lacing. I think I've talked to you about that a little bit before, but it holds these ribs, basically helps keep them straight up and down as the fabric on top of them shrinks when you're shrinking the fabric down. Keeps it from getting out of alignment too much. And I went around and put tape over all the screw heads and tape over the joints and stuff to keep any kind of, it's called anti-chafing tape, to keep the fabric from snagging on anything. But I got all that done, and we're ready to start with fabric on this wing. Should be able to get a video of that coming pretty soon. The first thing I'm going to do is just put a piece of fabric here over this this butt rib. So the very first rib, I'll put a piece of fabric over that, and then I'm going to start with the top. We'll put a piece of fabric over the whole top, flip it over, put a piece of fabric over the whole bottom, and we'll move along that way. I also modified my little rotisserie a little bit. I don't know if you can see this. Changed the length, made a little standoff here to get the wing about 6 inches away from the stand, and hopefully that will allow me to be able to paint this butt rib and stuff while it's in the fixture. All right, guys, got my thick batch of AirTech adhesive here. I'm about to put a couple coats on this butt rib, which is the very first rib on the right wing. So I'm going to put a couple coats of this adhesive on, let that dry, and then we'll start putting the fabric on the end. I'll get you a little time lapse going. now you're all caught up on the Taylorcraft. I'm about to get real busy putting the fabric on the top and the bottom of this wing, and we'll have those videos coming real soon. Again, I'm sorry for the long hiatus between videos, but if you're enjoying my content and if you want to stick around and see this thing get finished and get back into the air, then hit the like or subscribe button on YouTube and hang around. Come see us again on the next episode of Flying with Brian.